but I took the time and worked through all of that. And I don't even know how to put it into words. The difference that has made for me is my why,
Right.
Why am I doing this? And it's not so I can hurry and get skinny, because skinny's probably not ever going to happen for me. And I've gotten to be okay with that. I'm going to be a queen.
Yes.
And have my queen weight, but I want to be healthy.
All right, friends, welcome to the Honeycast. I am here with one of my clients, and her name is Barbara, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear her story. I know you are going to be so encouraged. I've been so encouraged by her already. And so why don't we just dive in? Barbara, welcome to the podcast, and why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate the opportunity. So I'm 58 years old. I have kind of struggled with weight pretty much my entire adult life. I like to blame a lot of that on being hypoglycemic. When you're hypoglycemic, you have to eat about every 3 hours or your blood sugar drops and you don't really function well. So I found Trim Healthy Mama when I was 46 years old, jumped head first into the program, and it was amazing. It absolutely changed my life. It's just so good for a hypoglycemic because you're eating pretty frequently. I lost about 40 pounds, kept it off for 7 years. Then the year that I had my last menstrual cycle, which was also 2020, I started to gain weight. I continued following the plan, and I continued gaining weight for the next couple years. I got really discouraged and just kind of threw in the towel. I still mostly ate healthy, but I would eat junk, at times. And that, of course, didn't work out very well for my weight. I ended up gaining a significant amount of weight. I knew if I didn't change something, I was going to continue gaining weight. THM had been such a life changer for me, and I wanted to continue following the plan. So I was aware that Pearl and Serene had been making tweaks to help for us middle-aged women, but I really had not invested the time to learn. And I decided, with my busy life, I probably just don't have the time to do that. And so I made the decision I wanted to go find a coach. I thought maybe if I find a group that would help me with motivation and help me learn what I needed to do.
So you basically got to the point where you were just done. You knew that you really didn't want to keep going on like you were. So you started to look for a coach. And then that's where you and I met, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So tell me about that. What made you decide to start coaching with me? And let's just talk about that experience.
Okay, sure. So I went online and started looking at all the different coaches and looked for someone who specialized in the menopausal time of life. And, I always think God is involved in everything. As I was really searching, you were offering a info session on Blast the Belly Fat. And so I had already talked to my husband. He had already given blessing for whatever I decided to do. I listened to the information session on Blast the Belly Fat. And I was like, okay, I think this is God's answer for me. And so I immediately joined.
Well, I definitely believe the same thing, Barbara, as far as God bringing people together, because I've noticed that with my coaching. I really believe that He brings me the people that I need to coach, and me to them to me to them. And so I always love it when somebody joins one of my programs or even my free group. I know they're there for a reason. And I'm so glad that you were able to invest the time and invest the money and really invest in yourself, because that's really what this is. Investing in yourself and your health. Yes, weight loss is a part of that, but so many people are scared or don't want to invest in themselves, or maybe they can't at that particular moment. Was that a hard thing for you, or were you just, I'm all in?
In the past, it has definitely been a hard thing. I have spent a lot of time in the last year or so doing a lot of soul searching on God's plan for me. I'm supposed to be a servant, And I think that that has not done me service in self-care. I'm not saying I don't think we should be a servant. I think we need to have a servant's heart and serve people. But I kind of decided that in order for me to continue serving other people, I needed to be taking care of my own health. So I was ready. I knew it was time to start thinking about my health and taking care of myself. I was ready to invest in me.
I'm so glad to hear that, because there are so many women out there who think that taking care of themselves is selfish. And I probably would have thought the same thing when I was younger, but as we age, as we hit perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, things really do start to change in our body. Our energy levels, our hormones, our sleep, even our brains begin to change. And so we need actually a little bit more of that TLC for ourselves in this season. It's part of stress reduction. And I think it's healthy because, like you said, if you want to be a servant, you can't really be the best servant if you're not taking care of yourself.
Absolutely. Definitely, I think as women, we tend to put ourselves last and even feel guilty for investing time, money into ourselves.
So talk to me about what it was like when you joined the Belly Fat Blast Bootcamp.
Kind of funny. I'm a person that jumps in with, everything when I do something. So when we started the first week of Blast the Belly Fat, I was a little bit surprised. It didn't really start out the way I thought it was going to. I was ready to make 100% of the changes today.
Right. Which has that ever worked out in the past for anybody? I'm just curious.
Of course not. You burn out very quickly.
Right.
And so you did something very unique to me with Blast the Belly Fat. And that was, that you wanted us to start working on our mindset, which was very difficult to do for me. You wanted us to focus on why we were making the changes and cultivating our mindset, creating a vision for why we want to do what we want to do. You gave us this model of thinking. And so I had to step back and go, okay, I'm going to have to wait a week before I can jump in. But I took the time and worked through all of that. And I don't even know how to put it into words. The difference that has made for me is my why,
Right.
Why am I doing this? And it's not so I can hurry and get skinny, because skinny's probably not ever going to happen for me. And I've gotten to be okay with that. I'm going to be a queen.
Yes.
And have my queen weight, but I want to be healthy. And so that was my why. So like I said, that training was just a game changer for me, because you taught us, think about your decisions. How are they going to serve you now? And how is that going to serve you in the future? So when I was feeling discouraged or just didn't want to put in the work, I had to think about that.
Right.
It's going to serve me right now because I don't want to do it. But if I keep not wanting to do it and don't do it, it's not going to serve me in the future. And that's been really, really big for me. Really big for me.
I'm glad that you pointed that out and brought that up, because it's honestly a very huge part of any type of behavior change. It's the mindset part. And for years, as a personal trainer, for years, I worked with women, mainly in the gym, not as much as nutrition. This was kind of before Trim Healthy, and even before Trim Healthy, I was into nutrition. But what I would see is that I would work people out. I might give them some advice, nutritionally, but if they weren't meeting with me every single week, they weren't meeting with anybody. And my job as a trainer isn't to keep somebody with me forever. It's to equip them and to help them establish new behaviors and new patterns. Fast forward, I was out of personal training and doing more nutritional coaching. Same thing. I would give people menus. I would help people create menus. I would coach with them once a week. But when we're not coaching, they would fall off. That's when I was introduced to the way of thinking called the model. And that's when everything changed for myself and also going forward for all of my clients. So sometimes we focus on that practical, like you said, you just want to get in there, you want to do all the things, you do, then you get burnt out, then you stop, and then you've wasted some time and money. So with this program, and really with all of my programs, the mindset part is just as important as the practical things that we need to know. And those practical things are very important because they're going to help you establish those healthy habits. So I'm glad that you brought that up. So after that first week of the mindset, we really start getting into things one at a time. How was the rest of your time? This was 8 weeks we had together. So talk to me about the rest of the time.
So right away, you gave us menus and ideas and things to tweak. So it wasn't just only thinking on mindset, but what really made an impact for me as a more mature woman was the THM way that I was implementing before was just not working for me, but I didn't really know what to do. And the blast the belly fat was very detailed in how we need to start eating differently by, having pulled back S's, not all the heavy creams and all those things that I had grown accustomed to. And then also eating more emails. And emails were not something that I utilized a whole lot of. My blood sugar doesn't always like the emails. And so I learned to pull back on the emails, and I was then able to incorporate more emails into that. And then some of the other things that were just really fun with the Blast the Belly Fat was the Facebook group where people were sharing ideas and asking questions. And I think we had weekly calls with you where we could ask questions. And that was really helpful. And it really just kind of created like we were all on this team trying to figure this out together. We're going to fail some, we're going to win some. And we just celebrated with each other for all of those things. And we, tried to help each other when we didn't meet our own expectations. And sometimes we just got to realize we're not going to be perfect. And we just pick ourselves back up and keep on going and not beat ourselves up about our bad choices, but try to make better choices more often than the bad choices.
And that is the way to keep going. That is it right there. I love that you guys were able to cultivate that together and to have each other to do that together. It is important to have that community and to have the coaching support as well. So why don't you tell us about your specific results, your wins, and obviously you've shared some pretty amazing wins already, but what about the results? What was that like for you?
So I was just really brought to tears because I had, gained a lot of weight, had been trying and couldn't get the weight off, been trying to just get back on target. So this, I think having that group, the accountability helped me to stay focused and to implement some of these new changes. And during the Belly Fat Blast Bootcamp, I lost about 14 pounds. I started working out. I was trying to get that 10,000 steps every day. I didn't usually make that, but going from pretty much no walking to at least 6,000 or 7,000 steps every day was to me a huge win. And then I started doing some of the workouts as well. And just in general, I just felt so much better. I started feeling a whole lot more optimistic. And so I can't even thank you enough, Chris, for your diligence with everybody and you can just tell when I'm working with you that you have such a heart for us women who are struggling, and you look at each one of us differently and help each one of us where we are at. I was just blown away by that because there were people in our group that didn't really even know what THM was. And then there was those like me who've been on it forever, just didn't really know how to make it work for us during this time. Just a very wonderful experience, and I'm so extremely grateful.
Well, thank you very much. I am honored. I am so honored. And I love seeing the transformation. That is the best part. And like you said, it's not about finding skinny or getting that perfect behavior all the time. You can have progress and not perfection and still see results and still learn how to implement those good habits that keep going. That's one thing about this particular program is I do one thing at a time on purpose, and that's from many years of me trying to eat the elephant all at one time, trying to implement, get all the plates spinning, and being maybe able to do that for maybe 4 weeks, and then they're all gone, and then doing nothing. And so for those of you that don't know the plan very well, for those of you that do know the plan well, we're taking it step by step. And all these things, these factors, what we're eating, how we're moving, how we're dealing with stress, lifestyle factors like our sleep, our hormones, thyroid, all of that plays into our weight loss and really overall how we feel. So I love seeing the transformation and hearing that you went from frustrated to optimistic, and from not feeling as well to feeling better and moving your body. And, I know we're still working on the hypoglycemia, and I know we're finding keys for that as well. So it's exciting that there's always tools out there. So let me ask you this. If you talk to any woman right now, whether they would be invited into my program or not, any woman, how would you encourage a woman right now from where you are and kind of what you've been through?
I would encourage them that they can do it. I know that sometimes it feels overwhelming. You just need to make a few tweaks. And I would encourage any woman to spend some time with Coach Chris because of her heart and passion to help women. I know you mentioned the hypoglycemia. Coach Chris worked with me because I have active hypoglycemia as well, which means when you eat a lot of carbs, often your blood sugar will go up a little and then it dives. And she spent some time with me, helping me figure out that I could add maybe a little extra fat to an email, and that might keep it from diving. And it worked. It worked really well. So I'm super excited about that. It will slow down my weight loss a tad, I think, maybe. If I'm able to incorporate the emails and, still do it, that to me is such an encouragement. And I want to encourage any woman out there. We're all different. We're all unique. We just have to figure out what works for us.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here with me today. I so have enjoyed chatting with you, and I'm honored to be your coach. And I can't wait to see your continued transformation.